Socrates walked downstairs to greet his parents before they went out for the evening. "A spazo, may I?" said Socrates. "Haven't you heard?" they said. "The cow some Pleo's down the street." Socrates closed off his ears with a sigh. He could never talk to his parents about anything greater than town gossip and news of distant celebrities. They never seemed to be occupied with what really is, never tasting any stable or pure pleasure. The town of Anisi was too pleasant for Socrates. It seemed they were always concerned with being brought down, like with hunger, only to enjoy the predictable pleasure of eating again, never soaring to any higher pleasures. Socrates was fed up that evening while talking to Elpis. He remarked that it seemed like everyone but her was just looking downward like cattle. All they do is feed, fatten, and fornicate. Elpis remarked that he was thinking too deeply again and could use some frankincense fumes. Socrates remarked that she was probably right. Elpis always dimmed his suffering. Socrates decided not to go home that evening. Instead, he went for a long walk. Having ventured on a different path than usual, Socrates found a cave that was new to him. Without thinking, Socrates walked down it. To his surprise, he found a man sitting at the bottom of the steep and jagged cave. "Man," said Socrates, "what are you doing down here?" The man replied instantly, "What do you desire?" Socrates repeated, "What do I desire?" "Yes," said the man. "What do you desire?" "To feed, fatten, and fornicate," said Socrates sarcastically. "Do not tell me how you see your parents," replied the man. "What do you desire?" Socrates, a bit taken aback, but anxious to voice his concerns, said that he wished he was wiser. "Is that what you wish for?" said the man. "Yes," repeated Socrates. "I wish I was wiser." "Very well," said the man, snapping his fingers. "Declare yourself, man," said Socrates. "What do you mean?" "I mean that your wish has been granted," said the man. "Ha!" scowled Socrates. "You are a trickster, a man without temperance or courage." And with that, Socrates left what appeared to be the cave. Socrates heard the scream 4 houses down and went running. What he saw made him feel a pain unknown, first in the body, then in the soul. His best acquaintance lay on the ground and her body was motionless. "Elpis, my friend," cried Socrates, "how did this happen? Who did this to you?" But Elpis could not speak. She was stone cold and dead-eyed. "Why," wailed Socrates, "why would the gods curse me with this fate? I hurt beyond words. I did not know humans could feel this way. O darkness, hideous clouds engulf me." "Let her be remembered for the way she comforted," said Socrates, "for the way she could add pleasure to the most dire of situations." After the speech, a friend approached Socrates. "Socrates," the friend said, "that was a beautiful speech." "Aye," said Socrates. "Can I ask, though," said the friend, "did the comfort, the hope Elpis provided actually help any situation, or did it merely make you feel better?" "I do not understand the difference," said Socrates. "What I mean," said the friend, "is did Elpis provide you with any wisdom to make better decisions, or was she just a comfort in danger?" "The second," said Socrates, "but what relevance is that?" "Because," said the friend, "is avoidance not bliss until the snake bites you right in the neck?" "It seems that way," said Socrates. "When Elpis was a homestayer during the Peloponnesian War," continued the friend, "she often helped soldiers feel better, but not because of any tangible fact. She often pointed them away from the truth. She gave them sunglasses. Do you understand?" Socrates was confused. "Are you saying the absence of tangible plan, a hope rooted in avoidance, contributed to the loss of men and cities during the war?" "Yes, that is what I am saying," said the friend. "Then you do not know what you are saying," said Socrates. "In Athens we praise the dead, and we praise them for having the most extreme of virtue, do we not?" "I do not disagree, and I am not saying her intentions were not pure, but the truth has no obligation to please us." The friend continued, "Look at our conversation now. Wouldn't it be extremely painful to admit the dead's shortcomings merely because it meant that when we died, others would do the same to us? Said the friend. Perhaps, said Socrates slowly. Just then, two of Elpi's and Socrates' friends walked towards them, having overheard what they were saying. Animals, one shouted. How dare you speak of Elpis in that way, even if it is the truth? Socrates, confused, ran. If I could get my hands on you, I'd kill you, Elpi's friend shouted from behind. Socrates ran to his friends in the agora to tell them of the tragic news and to share his shaken understanding of Elpi's life. After Socrates explained his conversation with the stranger at the funeral, his friends ridiculed him. Look, said Socrates, I swear what I'm telling you is the truth as far as I can see it. But his friends became outraged and tried to attack Socrates again. So, once again, he ran. Socrates found himself back home, and exhausted, he slept. In the morning, he woke in a sweat with a terrible fever in his head and inflamed eyes. He found his mouth was bloody and his breath was strange. He tried to get up, but he could not from the pain in his chest. He tried to yell for his parents, but could not, as he found his voice too hoarse. Socrates found himself unbearably hot, but was too weak to remove his clothes. He lay there in pain, unable to meaningfully move, unable to call for help, unable to sleep. For 8 days the disease persisted, and when it left, it took Socrates' eye along with it. 2 weeks passed. Socrates did not leave his house. After 2 weeks, it appeared his mother had caught the same illness. Socrates knew she could not get up, so he brought water to her. He knew she was unbearably hot, but could not voice it, so he kept her room cool and removed her outer layers. Socrates' mother healed over 6 days, and recovered with only some scarring. Socrates went down to the agora to sit, as that is all he felt he could do. Nowadays, the slightest effort seemed impossible to Socrates. He knew others were watching Cephalus speak about he, as a middle-aged man, took the highest pleasure in pursuing truth. As Athenians watched Cephalus, a beautiful and strong speaker, Socrates listened. He, for once, was not convinced. Cephalus made no sense. He just appeared frightened about the new challenges of his life. However, Socrates did not care. He wanted to die. With the last of his energy, Socrates walked back to the cave to cry to the man who cursed him before he took his own life. Man, said Socrates, with a voice that sounded like he still had the plague, what did you do to me? I granted your wish, said the man. Do you not find yourself on a path to wisdom? Socrates froze. Why cause me such physical pain? What value did that pain have? The path to wisdom is not easy, Socrates. Many do not manage to crawl out alive, which is why it is not a path for all, said the man. What you say is soft, said Socrates. What purpose did you have bringing a plague to my family? Because, Socrates, was it not true that having recovered from that suffering you had more compassion and knowledge for treating your sick mother? Yes, and isn't it true that you knew firsthand what the sickness was like, so you could prescribe the correct care? Then why the pain of my psyche, said Socrates, who was now sobbing great sobs. Why did you take away my Elpis? Don't you see, Socrates, that such wisdom has no shortcuts? To discover yourself, to gain the tools to help others, you must suffer. The tools come from climbing out of your own suffering, do they not? Socrates had nothing to say in that moment. He just wept. Remember how you felt when Elpis died, said the man. Does knowing that not motivate you to be more compassionate to the human beings feeling that way? Do you now know what you would have desired in that treacherous mental state? Yes, whispered Socrates, who habitually reached up to wipe his eyes, only to remember one of his was gone. If you were guiding me to see more, then why take away my eye? Said Socrates. There cannot be a reason for that except for suffering's sake. No suffering is meaningless, said the man, and then asked, do you really think truth is merely observed with the eyes alone? How else would I see it? Said Socrates. Often what appears to be is a mere shadow of the truth, is it not? Asked the man. I don't see where that applies, said Socrates. Did you not start to question the validity of Cephalus when you listened rather than just watched? Asked the man. Isn't recognizing this the first step before true dialectical discussions to pursue truth? And why the rejection? Cried Socrates. Why turn my friends against me? Because, Socrates, after trying to comprehend the light, the truth you see, if you shoved others' faces in it, wouldn't they scream it is too bright and try to kill you for such treatment? I have not tried to kill you, yelled Socrates, and I did not force your face into the sun. I created events to guide you, like looking at the shadows, then reflections in the water, then the light of the night sky, and eventually glimpses of the sun. Your journey adjusted you to the light of truth. If you were compelled to look at the light of truth itself, wouldn't your eyes be pained? Yes. But nonetheless, along the rough, steep path upward, I dragged you. Wouldn't you be pained and angry? Asserted the man. Of course, declared Socrates. And isn't that what happened here, despite your wish being granted? Said the man. Socrates sat down, realizing his wish may have been, in fact, granted. What do I do with this wisdom now? Said Socrates, who once again started to cry. What you originally wanted it for, said the man. Philosophy compels the soul to use the wisdom it has gained about itself in life. Socrates was confused. Does this mean helping others to suffer enlightens them? Asked Socrates in a whisper. Yes, said the man, but only if they have the virtue of courage. And should that wisdom be spread? Asked Socrates. Spread as much as you can, said the man. The ultimate understanding of truth is beyond being, but you can guide others to it while yourself as well. Socrates hung his head and went home. 2 years later he ran into Glaucon. Socrates, Glaucon exclaimed, I'm fed up with the life my family lives. It's as if they lived their lives in the dark. Teach me, please, said Glaucon, who then said, I'm not afraid to venture down into the dark, but will you be my flashlight as I embark? This uncharted territory is a little scary, so where I step I must be wary. And well is the meaningful type of tough, the walls of this cave are still quite rough. So if all you are is good and kind, well, then that's enough. I am no longer chained. Down here, I'm free, but that comes with a cost. I'm not sure where I'm trying to be. I'm no longer bound to a deceiving show. Instead, I'm walking slowly, carefully, to a warm, real glow. So while my thoughts sometimes go to Candyland, won't you find a way to grab my hand and guide me from that made-up place, and walk me to real life again, so I can get a truer, sweet taste? Don't let that man drag me back. I don't want to be in this wisdomless black. Let me climb high, and let me be wise. And with a sigh, Socrates agreed. Glaucon, he said, walk up with me.